Okay, good morning. So this this idea occurred to me that maybe you know what a rock in a shoe feels like when you have a stone in a shoe. Well, Uber's a little bit like that for the middle class. Considering that taxi drivers make $40,000 to $50,000 in salary a year, they're middle class and they're middle class families. And and what Uber does to municipalities um, primarily affects middle class. So it's like a stone in a shoe, having a stone in a shoe, and yet, and the issue seems very straightforward. It's a little bit um, anathema, and when you say anathema, they say, oh Lord Christ, he's going to mention God again, as if he's a Catholic or something. You're like, no, anathema just means like the sort of like the antimatter of eudaimonia. It's like the antimatter of capitalism and why the SEC was, the Securities Exchange Commission was set up, why there's the antitrust and there's all these laws. It's the antimatter of all those things. So for some people it's very obvious, sort of like the harm of this business model, and they point to, like, maybe Africa. They point to some some you know Chinese taxi driver in like a small province. It's like, no, Uber is great for capitalism. Uber is like, you know um, all these things, and it's like, but I'm really not those people. No offense. You know what I mean? This to me, this is still antimatter. And so we look, if you ever, we look at articles on Uber and who's invested in them, and they have names like, capital C investments. They have names like, whatever, um, Mount Everest Fund. They have names like, like Supersonic Everest Investment Equity Fund, right? And these funds are for high net worth individuals, and you need a minimum of, like, I don't know, 100,000, to get in. It's sort of like buying one share of Berkshire Hathaway, and if you or going to the bank and say, I like to put my savings into a mutual fund, but you need a minimum of $100,000 to get in. And so Uber raises these funds and all these funny, like new agey business models that does well for, if you're not driving Uber, you might be like picking rice with water buffaloes, does well for those types of economies. But before the West, it's like a storm in the shoe, because it's owned by high net worth individuals. Who are they? You gotta cushion job for life in the government. You're a high net worth individual. You're some senator. You're a high net worth individual. You're like a small manufacturer. You're a high net worth individual. But what do you care, right? Uber is making money hand over fist with different rounds of investments. When it gets in trouble, it raises another round of investment. It raises another, I don't know, $1 billion. It doesn't seem to really do good making money. It seems to just make rounds of investments, and everywhere it goes, just like kind of sells itself off to the next, like, third world billionaire. Uber is owned by high net worth individuals in the West. All right, and it cites examples of, like, would you rather be picking rice in a watery field with cattle, or do you want to drive Uber? All right, That's Uber. It's owned by high net worth individuals in the West because it's so antimatter to the West. Right? So if like a Buick LaCrosse, like a 3-year-old Buick LaCrosse not good enough for you, because you're elite, you know. If you don't need like a advanced education, you really don't need it. You're not even interested. You're elite. Your daddy was elite, and you get checked from like your Mount Everest supersonic investment fund every month because it's in Uber. They're elite.